Hey kids, today's adventure takes us to one of my favorite places in Berea. It was also one of my dad's favorite places as well, so much so that he got a trail named after him there. So I hope you enjoyed today's adventure and the hike up the pinnacles in Berea, Kentucky.
Here we have a tree that is pretty common all over the United States. They're probably planted somewhere in your neighborhood. This is the eastern redbud tree. Easy to identify tree. They have these blooms that grow all along the branches and sometimes even on the trunk of the tree. One of the first trees to bloom in early spring. And an interesting little fact is the little pink flowers there are actually edible. They're really high in vitamin C, and a lot of people will harvest them and put them in salads.
Did you guys know that Michigan used to be under a shallow ocean millions of years ago? Kentucky was the same way, but unlike Michigan, Kentucky never got the glaciers that came from the last ice age. They didn't come this far south to push all of the rocks and land out of the way. So this rock is millions of years old and was formed when it was underneath that shallow ocean. You can see the layers of the rock with all the pebbles was deposited by water as it moved across this same area over and over. And as water passes over rock like sandstone and limestone, which is softer, it erodes the rock away to make smaller and smaller particles that make sandy soil.
So guys, what we're looking at here is what we call a fiddlehead, which is basically a newborn fern. When it first starts to sprout, it looks like that. And then right here, we have a new baby fern that has just unfurled from its previously fiddle-headed state. Interesting question here. Do you guys know the difference between a fiddle and a violin? A violin has strings and a fiddle has strings.
Here we have another one of the native trees of the forest we have here. So if you come up close to this bark and look really closely, you can see how it's kind of scaly and blocky. It kind of looks like a chicken's leg a little bit. So to identify this tree, you just got to think, what would eat a nasty old chicken leg?
I don't know, John.
A dogwood. So this is a flowering dogwood. So if you look close at these flowers, you can see a really pretty little tree, and they provide a valuable source of food for migrating birds in the spring and the fall. This big bad boy here is a shortleaf pine. If you can tell up there at the very top, they've got branches at the very top. This is one of the trees that has evolved with forest fires in mind. So if you notice, their branches all start at the top. That's so that this trunk doesn't catch on fire. The bark is these plates that almost look like stacks of paper, all stacked on top of each other. And it needs fire to reproduce. So a forest fire event will come through these trees. The outside will catch on fire a little bit, but they won't burn. And the pine cones need that fire, the forest to regenerate before the saplings will come back up the following year. So it's one of the trees that we've almost lost out here because we don't let forest fires happen. Okay, so here we have the Kentucky State tree and the tree that is the logo of the Berea College Forestry Outreach Center. This is the tulip poplar tree. It is called that because the flowers resemble tulips, and as Kayla just mentioned, the leaf looks like a dinosaur foot.